So in the past, I've made videos about the upcoming Snapdragon X Elite chips. Um, Qualcomm has shown that the performance, when compared to the M2, and I want to say even some of the M3 products from Apple, either on par or slightly superior. And yes, that is great. I am looking forward to at some point buying one of those. But my concern is the rest of the computer. So for this particular video, mine and the one that I'm going to play in a few moments, it's really talking about panel or screen options when it comes to Windows computers. And after this gentleman talks, I'll give a little more detail as to why I'm concerned.
Through that touchpad. Some other things to call out are multiple display offerings, panel offerings. Our entry panel is a full HD 42% color gamut panel, about 200, 250 nits of brightness. It is an entry panel. For a slight increase, we offer customers the full HD 100% DCI P3 panel, which has 500 nits of brightness. Far superior panel, has the same resolution as the entry panel, but for less than $100, you're able to get into a 100% color correct DCI P3 panel, which is absolutely stunning. And on the higher end, we have our UHD panel, 4K display panel with 100% Adobe color gamut. So there is a difference between the color gamut from full HD to the UHD. 100% DCI P3 on the full HD, 100% Adobe on the UHD panel.
So what he's saying is that for this mobile workstation, this machine created for professionals, there is an entry-level panel, which to me, those two things just don't align. It's a business machine. It's a professional machine. There shouldn't be an entry-level option for it. And now I know there are going to be some people who say, well, I don't need color accurate anything. Like the work that I do doesn't require it. And to that I say, you know, you're right. But at the same time, I just don't understand why it has to exist, that entry-level panel, for this particular machine. You know, if we're talking about a $300 computer, yeah, cool, put a crappy machine on it. But if you look on the right side of the screen, over there with the Linus Tech Tips video, I believe, and I watched it a while ago, that the machine that he reviewed in that is this machine, the 7750. Now, the machine that he had was the fully spec'd out one, which is why it cost that much money, $13,000, and this was a couple years ago. But it just goes to show that if you're paying that much money or even thousands of dollars, whatever the starting price of this is, it should not come with a panel as bad as what he just described. And then he goes on to say, well, just for less than $100 more, you can get a far superior panel, which, yes, good. I'm glad that the next one exists, and then pay a little more money, you get the 4K panel, which I know for that a lot of people don't need. But to have that entry-level panel in terms of cost and manufacturing, I'm sure the reason you have to pay that less than $100 to go to the next available panel is because that bottom one exists and their cost associated with producing that. So if they were able to just nix that completely, I'm sure there's a way to get it, like the overall entry or starting price for the machine to be like $20 more than what it currently is. I mean, I have no idea, no information to back up my claims, but I don't like what he described for that first machine or that first panel. And the reason I'm bringing it up, because as I was talking about the Snapdragon chips and how the chip itself is going to be great, we don't know what machines those things are going into. And we will find out. But when I say they, I mean Qualcomm, they drew a lot of comparison to the performance of Apple Silicon, whether it was M2 or M3. However, my concern is the rest of the computer. So yes, the chip might be efficient, might be powerful, battery life might be amazing, but when I use the computer, how's the rest of the experience going to be? And that's not up to Qualcomm. That's up to the device manufacturer. So Dell, Lenovo, Asus, HP, whoever else is going to, Microsoft, whoever else is going to put these chips in their machines. And when I talk about a MacBook, it's truly a total package. So you have a good trackpad, a good keyboard, good speakers, a good screen, good battery life, good performance, good build quality, good front-facing camera. It's truly a total package. And I just don't know if I'm comfortable to assume or to hope that that's going to be the case when it comes to these Qualcomm machines, because we don't know. And like I said before, if it's a bottom of the barrel machine, cool. Put a terrible panel on it, put a terrible trackpad, keyboard, whatever. Give users that option if they're only paying $300 for a computer. But if you're paying $1,000, and you see it a lot with all of the companies that I just named, you'll have to spend more to get that good screen because they offer that bottom of the barrel one. So here, I don't like that Dell creates a mobile workstation that has that entry level panel. I feel like it should only come with the good and then the better screen, the same way the MacBook Air has a good screen, but the MacBook Pro has a better screen. So professional, business, machines, whatever. And I get everybody doesn't need color accurate panels, but in addition to color accuracy, he also talked about brightness, so 250 nits is probably okay, but 500 nits is better. Everybody doesn't need a 4K panel. So full HD or full HD plus, depending on the aspect ratio. Cool. But yeah, I truly am worried that we're going to end up with a bunch of machines that have good internals, but the overall user experience just isn't great. And the point of this video isn't to say what I said in one of my other videos, but it's, well, yes, there will be these Windows on ARM machines, but my concern, or I don't say concern, my guess, is that even though a bunch of machines will come out later this year, I hate to say it, but it's possible that the best Windows on ARM machine already exists, and it might be the Mac. You have to run Parallels or whatever to run Windows. But if by some chance Apple decided to bring back Boot Camp, yeah, I'd say if you want Windows, buy a Mac. And I really, really hope that changes, or at least my opinion of that changes in the coming weeks. And lastly, I'll say I was watching something, and I believe the Microsoft Surface is going to have an Intel variant and a Qualcomm variant. So we'll see what other device manufacturers come around, put these chips in the machines, and in a couple months we'll definitely get a better perspective of what to expect going forward.